Yo, what's going on, guys? So today I had a bunch of people message me about James Kuck and Nick Wood. They have a bunch of videos on Rank and Rent, and I had people ask me if I knew them. Well, I've known about James Kuck for a little while. Nick Wood was trained by Dan Klein. He was part of our program.
How do I take the way you think? I don't need to follow exactly what you've done. I just want to see like I'm impressed and just watching like how you think more than exactly what you've done. Because there's a fucking lot of ways to make $1 million a month. I understand that.
Tons. I go, look, after doing this so many times now, I've launched so many of these programs and every one of them has done well. The more I do it, I look back at how I'm doing it right now. Whole bird just fucking smacked into that window. That bird's dead for sure. The biggest thing that I've probably done correctly, I haven't done it always correctly, is my strategic alliances and partnerships, because I'm always understanding like I'm not good at a lot of things and I want to work with people that are good at these things and get synergy, because it's going to cost me something, whether it's time, energy, know-how. It's costing me something without them. And sometimes at least I think this, at least for me, it's like I feel an obligation to Ippei to show up and fucking bring the fucking heat, because he worked his ass off to get those leads to the fucking table. So there's this like mutual respect. So it's like, I don't know why people get so short-sighted, but they'll try to take that quick hit of cash by just being a big, loud voice that gets all the success.
And yeah, I've just had people ask me about them. So today what I'm going to do is react to their conversation. It's a 30-minute video, so I'm going to speed it up and just highlight the parts where I feel like I can add some insight or I can bring new points to their conversation.
Okay, cool. So I got Nick Wood here from Flat Fee Mastery. And,
It's not just Nick Wood either. I think you guys will be really surprised when you figure out that people that are teaching this model, they all learned from Dan and they were all former students of Dan. It's not just Nick.
Excited to have him on, actually. I know my YouTube channel's been a little dead, and I get bombarded with a lot of questions in Facebook group, email, on YouTube comments, and I can't get back to everyone, but this is going to be a really great session, not just an interview, but also I think that you'll learn a lot, especially what Nick is doing right now. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, Nick, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you got into this business.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having me on, dude. I'm excited to do this. So, hey, I'm really quick. I'll make it brief. But 2016, I was at the tail end of doing door sales. Honestly, I couldn't think of a worse job to do. So I was literally knocking on doors every single day for 4 years, selling home security systems. And so in my last year, I was like, I got to get out of this freaking job. And I was making really good money at the time. I was like a couple $100,000 and I was young. So I went to lunch with somebody and they're like, hey, do you like the internet? And I was like, I love the idea of the internet, because I was looking for a business model. And they're like, check out this podcast I did with this guy. And so I went and I checked out this podcast, and it was somebody talking about Rank and Rent. And I was like, dude, that is, because I'm pretty sure most everyone's read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I was like, that is like Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
So long story short, 2016, I hop on a sales call. I thought I was getting information. A couple minutes later, I was giving my credit card, buying a course. And that was how I got into the space. And for the last 6 years, I've been trying to figure it out. And I got a couple of deals right there in the beginning. Then I put it on the shelf because I was too good for the business model, which is a whole conversation in itself. And I came back to it. And anyway, at this point now,
Yeah, apparently Nick got shiny object syndrome. He got a couple clients following Dan's program, and then he started doing different things, and then he came back to the business model and started having some success. That's what I've noticed with a bunch of other students. You go join our program and try a bunch of other online business models because you get shiny object syndrome, and then ultimately you end up coming back to local lead gen. Honestly, it happened to me as well, but I already got to 10K per month with local lead gen, and I tried fiddling with like affiliate marketing and like Amazon FBA and some other e-commerce stuff, because I like to just try different things. But then ultimately I came back to lead gen as the most lucrative online business model for me.
I've been doing lead gen since like summer of 2018. And then I changed into flat fee in 2020 when I started scaling up.
And we're going to get into, I'm going to ask questions about this very soon, is the model that you're doing is not just, okay, throw up these sites because then you have to wait till they rank. It's more of the opposite effect, which we'll get into. But one of the big questions I want to ask you is, do you think Rank and Rent is dead?
Yeah, good question. Here's the deal. And I like to say this, I'm not here to sell you on it. Just I'll show you my Stripe account. Yeah. It's far from dead. I think everyone wants to, the question everyone asks is, did I miss the window?
Yeah.
Like obviously people are still making money. Did I miss the window, or is it saturated? Because everyone's like, if you guys are talking about it, aren't there going to be too many people doing this? And it's like, guys, there's so many niches out there. And on top of that, most of the people just want to go into the tier 1 cities, the Las Vegas, the Nashville, and all that.
Yeah.
I make most of my money in freaking rinky-dink backwoods, Arkansas, where nobody wants to touch.
There is so many other niches. If you just start thinking outside the box, I hear people tell me some of the niches, or they share with me, hey, can you check this out? And I look, I'm like, I never even thought of that. It's like, okay, there's probably money to be made right there. It's just getting into those obscure things and finding the right city, and you can hit some home runs.
And one last note on that is I remember in one of the groups I was in, they kept saying, what do they say? The riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches. And I was like so in my head that I had to find this crazy obscure niche that no one touched. But guys, the money is in the niches. The riches are in the niches, yes. But there's also money in the obscure cities.
Yeah.
And so my game has always been, regular niches. So like I make all my money in artificial grass, concrete, tree service, spray foam insulation. Like that's it. But I'm in cities you would never even think about. I'm in cities. Like if you're looking at Nashville, I'm not looking at Nashville. I'm looking at, there's a city outside like Lebanon is what it's called. You don't even know where that's at, right? But that's where I make my money. So I think it's either obscure niche or obscure city. And I like obscure city because then I already know the niche is tried and true and it's proven. And then I just have to find the right city. So I think it's one or the other.
Definitely.
Yeah, but the problem if you go to a city that's too obscure, like too small, like you're gonna get very small monthly payment clients, and it's very difficult to scale your lead gen clients. Sure, with those little clients, you can get to 5K a month, 10K a month even, but it's becomes very difficult to scale to 30, 40, 50K a month if you're getting dinky little clients that pay you 500, 600 bucks a month.
Definitely, and a lot of value with that. And I appreciate you sharing your niches as well. But like you said, the niche and the city, two both things that are very important. And another thing is, and again, people come back to this, not only will they pick a niche that's probably getting saturated or popular, then they pick the big cities. Like you said, they will go after Nashville. You know how many times I see it's somethingnashville.com, right? So it's like they always are doing that instead of leverage local SEO. And we've had plenty of times where we would sell a client an SEO package and then also turn around after we're doing stuff on their site and sell them leads as well. So we're taking the profits and putting it back into assets that we own, which is definitely the smartest thing to do. But I want to get into how you guys are doing things, because it's not that traditional, hey, now find a city, find a niche. Now you got to build this site and wait for it to rank, because we all know sometimes, and it's funny, yes, there is cases where you can rank pretty quickly, but when I hear people saying you're going to rank overnight, and that's in their sales pitch, truly, I've been doing this a while. I want to see someone, if I pick out a niche and a city, them rank a site or GMB overnight. I would be very impressed if they can do that. So I want to get into a little bit of what you're doing that kind of battles that, because I think that is one of the biggest bottlenecks with this business model, rank and rent.
I'm so sick and tired of people saying that's a bottleneck. The reason why rank and rent, you have a client that pays you year after year, and the reason why it has high barrier to entry and it doesn't get saturated is because it is difficult to rank websites at the top of the search engine. Okay, that's what creates value. Anything that is too quick and too fast for anybody to duplicate and do is not that valuable. This is why paid ad agency, they're not that valuable. To rank a website, yes, it does take some time, but that is the part of the business that makes it valuable. I'll explain a little bit more in a second.
I think everybody that's in rank and rent right now, not everybody, but I think a lot of us, when we bought our first program, and I appreciate you being candid with people and being like, look, this does take work. If it didn't, this would be a scam. That it would be literally like a Ponzi scheme. If it was only upside, like, of course it takes work. Duh. So I think a lot of us got into our first program and we had this vision of, we're going to choose a couple niches, build a couple sites, and money's just going to flow in, and we're going to travel the world and be digital nomads and have, as Tim Ferriss says, like oil.
By the way, we never market that kind of message. I think that's why we always say these lead gen sites take anywhere from 6 weeks if you go to a super obscure city to up to 6 months. And because it takes a while to rank these sites, this is why once you actually do rank a site, it is very valuable to business owners. And this is what makes you irreplaceable. The sole reason why a business owner would be willing to pay you month after month, and they'll do whatever it takes to never lose you.
We'll rub on our bellies in Thailand while we're making money. Not the case. That said, like, what we're doing is a little bit different. And what I did is I made a mistake in 2018 after I did my SEO thing. And I'm like, look, I got to get back into lead gen. In 2020, I realized I had to get into the flat fee thing. And the reason that I'm even bringing this up is what I realized in 2020 is I was like, okay, this flat fee thing, there's a lot of good to it. I got the card on file. In the winter, my income's not going to dip because it's cold. But in order for me to scale, I have to build. And if it takes 4 to 6 months to rank a website, dude, I got to build like 100 of these so that in 6 months I can go sell them. And so I'm like, I can't wait that long. Like I can't. And so what we did is we started with this idea. We had this website and it was generating like a couple leads, like 1 or 2 leads. And we're like, what if we just put on a Google ad and supplemented the leads that are coming in with a couple more paid ads, and we get the deal before it's fully ranked, even on a flat fee deal. And then as it's ranking, we can just turn the ads off. And so that was like where the whole thing was born. And we've since refined it. And so now just
Nick is pretending like this is a process he created. No, this is a process that Dan teaches. It's called Go Fast and Look Sexy in the training, which is basically instead of waiting for your website to rank and start generating free leads to get a client, if you're good at salesmanship and you're comfortable putting yourself out there, you close a business owner on a flat fee by using AdWords coupons. So you can generate free leads with using coupons, but with a coupon, it only lasts like 2-3 days. But in those 2-3 days, you generate enough free leads to that business owner where the business owner feel like they can trust you, and you close them on a flat fee for $1,000, $2,000 a month. Then you make like a contract. The business owner pays you like, let's just say $1,000 a month for the next 6 months. And during that 6 months, you promise the business owner like you're going to be ranking a website for them, but you have other tricks up your sleeves that allows you to generate leads. You don't necessarily tell them that you're using AdWords, and then you close that person on a flat fee. And what you do is you use their budget to run AdWords during that 4 to 6 months while you're trying to rank that website. Yes, it is a good model to get money coming in the door, but let's not pretend like you just closed a flat fee deal and that turns into a lead gen client. You still have to ultimately build and rank the site. If you fail to rank the site, you are going to lose that client. It's no different than closing somebody as an AdWords agency.
So everybody knows our process is, in the last 18 months, I have not built a single website with my own money. We go out, we put up a one-page landing page in a city that we've done the homework on. We run ads to that landing page. We generate a couple of leads. We take those leads to go and close a deal before we ever build out the digital property, and we take the money from the...
This is the exact process I used once I became comfortable with the lead gen business model. Once I was able to prove myself that I can build and rank websites on my own. I had no sales experience. I was not confident in the beginning when I first started in 2014. And I would send those free leads to a business owner, and the business owner would be ecstatic to start working with me. And I would close a lot of my clients that way. Now, once I got to 3-4K a month, I got enough confidence. Now I started utilizing Dan's go fast, look sexy technique, which is to use AdWords to a landing page like Nick is explaining, and sending business owners free leads for 2-3 days and then closing them on a flat fee deal. And I can use their money to build the website. This was in an interview I did with Dan all the way back in 2015 or 2016, way before Nick even joined our program.
Maybe you get 5 or 10 lead gen sites rolling, and then but you want to kind of keep every day, you want to keep moving your business forward while those are ranking and getting leads or whatever, and you don't have more capital. You were basically getting in front of people and saying, hey, if I could do this, I want to come into your market in the XYZ niche, and if I do, I'm just looking for a business to partner with that I could send all the customers.
Yeah.
But I'm looking
exactly.
I'm looking for a reputable company. So are you guys reputable? Like those are the types of things.
Right.
But you're doing that up front, and then were you sending them proof? Were you sending them your case study?
So what I would do is like, I would say, I wouldn't ask for any money in the initial conversation.
Okay.
Right? I'd be like, would you be interested in doing like a 10% thing? Like I'm looking to like build my site here, And if I found somebody that was kind of like interested in that, then what I did was I did the Google AdWords coupon.
Okay.
So I would run these Google AdWords coupons. I would build like one of those free Weebly sites that you can build.
Yes.
You can pretty much duplicate those, right? And you can just change out the city.
Mm-hmm.
All the contents on it is the same, everything.
Yep.
Just change out the city. I would build that, like the site. I would run the coupon, and the coupon would generate leads, and I would forward it to that guy. That guy already knows who I am. He talked to me, right?
Yep.
And so he sees this leads coming in sent by me. And so he's like, wow, this guy is the real deal,
Mm-hmm.
And that coupon's like sending a few leads a day. And if the coupon runs, I'd like just pretty much build a new clone site, and I'd run the coupon again.
Yep.
I would keep doing it. It's kind of like, I would just keep doing that, keep like these little leads coming in. And after a while, I'm like, hey, you've been seeing those leads, and he's paying me that 10% as well.
Sure.
And then like, hey, I want to build this site, like if you can pay me like $500 a month, it'll go a lot faster. Like I'm trying, you know what I mean? And so I had a few people, that would be down for that. They, sure, let's do it. You're already sending me leads. Let me pay you 500 or whatever a month, and let's speed this process along. And that would give me the additional capital to go ahead and build like more lead gen sites.
Perfect.
So
the equivalent, just so everyone, layman's terms again, is Ippei would be in a bar and there's 10 beautiful women. And Ippei would say, hey, would you like to go on a date, dinner, and a movie? And they might say no. And you go, cool. Would you like to go on a date, dinner, and a movie? He goes through enough of them. One says yes. He takes him to dinner and a movie. They know he's the real deal. And all of a sudden he goes, hey, would you like to go on another date? Whatever, so like, it's so, it's so easy mentally, like in real life, if you have a situation like that, it's the same thing, right? You're basically building trust and desire, proving you're legit, you're proving you're not some creepo, right? Or in the AdWords space or in the lead space that you know what you're doing. And then you're asking them to move forward. Hey, you want to be my boyfriend? You want to be my girlfriend? And they're going, yes or no, right? And then at that point, you're moving forward, right? You just keep the relationship moving forward. So much of sales and so much of what we do is just simple relationship building techniques that we would do in real life.
Client that he's giving us or she's giving us, and we use that money to build the digital asset. And it allows you to infinitely scale because you're no longer bound by money. It's like in real estate, they say OPM, other people's money.
You still can't infinitely scale, because the problem with this model, because every model has its weaknesses, is that you can like close these business owners, but if you don't technically, again, rank that site in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you're forever running AdWords and a very limited AdWords budget. So the business owner is not that happy because it's not getting that many leads, and you will lose clients if you still fail to rank. So it's not infinitely scalable. The strength of this lead gen business model still lies in your ability to rank websites in Google.
really building your digital empire with other people's money. And I know that sounds cliche and it probably sounds spammy, scammy, all that stuff, but that's what I've been doing. I have not built a single site of my own money in the last 18 months, because why would I if I don't have to, right? So that it's basically taking the model and it's flipping it on its head. Instead of waiting for it to rank, I'm gonna get the client first and then I'm gonna develop the property, instead of building out the property and then getting the client.
No, you can do both ways. If you have enough money, why not go use your own money and build more sites? Now, if you can use sales to get clients' money coming in, you use their clients' money to build and rank the site. But this ultimately, in the long run, you still have to have the right skill sets to rank these sites and have a team.
Amazing, man. And now, will you always build a site for that and rank it for every one that you close?
So that's the beautiful part, is you technically don't have to. So let's say you get a deal and you're charging $1,000 a month and the ads are only costing you $300 because it's low cost per click. It's not competitive. It's a certain niche. Technically, you could just make the $700 split, right? $1,000 minus the $300, and you could arbitrage that thing all the way to the bank and you wouldn't have to. My game is, when I got into this business model.
Basically, what you just did is you're just running a AdWords agency at that point. Like, you're not running a lead gen agency. Why not just do AdWords agency? Now, there's a lot of weaknesses about the AdWords agency that I can go into, but just to make it brief, like, you're not going to have those kind of ridiculous numbers where a business owner is paying you $1,000. You only pay $300 to AdWords and produce enough leads to keep that business owner happy long term. It's never going to have that much upside. If it did, everybody would be doing AdWords.
One of the most attractive parts was the asset. So yes, I always build on the back end, but there is an example. I have an Albuquerque concrete website, and literally this happened to me recently. 3 months ago, I messaged my project manager and I said, "Hey, where's our rankings at for Albuquerque concrete?" And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What?" I didn't stutter. What's our ranking? She said, "We don't have a site." Like, what do you mean we don't have a site? We've been getting paid for a year. She's like, "Yeah, we don't have a site." And dude, we forgot to build the site. We were doing so many deals, like we were in this sprint mode, and we've been charging this.
This is the problem when you do these like sprints of like just closing deals and you don't have the right infrastructure or a team to actually go out and do the service. Closing a business owner on a flat fee deal up front is only like 30% of the battle. Like 70% of the battle is actually building and ranking the site. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to have a profitable lead gen business. You have a low profit AdWords agency.
This guy $1,000. By the way, we've been sending him leads from the one pager, but we didn't ever take the profits to build out the website. And I've been making $700, or I think that deal is actually like I'm charging $1,000 and spending like $500, but we've been making $500 a month for a year, and we don't even have a website.
Still a win.
It's still a win. Now the website is there. We went and built it. I was like, oh crap. But for those of you that want to go fast and just need some cash, you can just go stack 10 of those deals, get your income up, and then just go build the properties out if you really need cash.
By the way, we teach that as well. You can use paid ads to get clients quickly, but ultimately what Dan teaches and what we stress is owning the asset gives you the most amount of leverage, and it keeps that client long term. Because without the asset, that business owner can fire you at any time. Maybe sometimes you might get lucky with a long-standing client for a year on AdWords, but a lot of times they feel that they're not getting enough leads. They're not going to want to continue to pay you. And different AdWords agencies can come in and offer that business owner better leads. There's just a lot of uncertainties with just running AdWords that doesn't lend to a long-term stability.
There are ups and downs, and when you're just relying on one thing, that's why I love the ad background that you have as well, because like for us, we could just turn ads maybe back on and we'll start generating those leads again. Now roofing, I know the ads are not very cheap, so that's one.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like if you sell every deal, like every time I sell a deal, I bake in the cost of ads. I'm like, okay, it's going to be X amount for ads. So here's the cool part is, let's say that there's a Google update. I don't know what animal Google's on. They did the panda and the penguin and the whatever. I don't know what one they're going to be on next, but whenever they do that one, let's say it hits all of us, right? I'm good. Because I know I'm profitable. If all my rankings go away, I just turn back ads. I know, because I don't sell a deal unless I'm 30 to 40% profit margin with the ads. So doing the ads and selling it with the ads baked in is actually a way to like future-proof yourself, to know that even if everything goes south, you're still profitable, you're still making money, because I know I can turn on ads and get leads, even if my rankings went away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, amazing.
So
Anyway, and to be honest with you, I've been doing this.
You got to be careful with this approach of relying on ads, because you're still not building out the skill set and the necessity for you and your team to be able to rank a website. Because when you are spending all that money on ads, now next thing you know, for every client, you're making way less money. So my lead gen clients, because I actually rank the site, I get completely free traffic. My lead gen clients are 95% profit margin. Now, when you start relying on AdWords, it's cool short term, but in the long term, as you're trying to scale, now you're making like 30% profit margin instead of 95%. So now you're having to deal with more clients, which is more ongoing effort to maintain those clients and keep those clients happy. So the reason why we harp on owning assets that actually rank with free traffic, because that gives you the biggest time freedom. If you create a big agency just running AdWords, you probably need double or triple the clients to make the same amount of money.
We did, and it's funny, when I saw what you were doing, we were selling leads, pay-per-call, like my partner that ran all the pay-per-click stuff. He was in charge of that. I never got involved in running ads or doing anything like that. I always was in charge of just making sure our organic rankings and all those assets were being built, and then making sure if we have clients, like that stuff's getting done. And we sold a lot of calls, more of the pay-per-call model though. So it was per lead, and we had some great ups and downs even with that. But it's amazing how you married the two together and created that pre-selling kind of model where, hey, we're going to be able to collect some money, dump it back into these assets, and protect ourselves long haul and actually scale. I'm sure there's going to be a time where you're going to have to hire some helpers if you really want to get to the 7-figure mark, right? You're not going to probably do that all on your own with all those moving parts.
All right, so what's my general thoughts on Nick Wood and the strategies that he's shared? To me, Nick Wood comes across as somebody that is more of a salesperson, and which is fine. Dan's kind of that way too. Dan came from like a sales background. He used to sell cars. And I understand that like sales is very exciting if you're like a sales oriented person to get that close. But ultimately, rank and rent is not a sales business, even though sales is involved. What separates rank and rent from all the other online businesses and why it has so much leverage and why it gives you time freedom with clients that pay you like clockwork month after month is because ranking organically with free traffic is the most overpowered way to generate leads for small business owners. So if you don't actually rank sites or have the ability to rank sites, you're not going to have a rank and rent business that's thriving. I've seen too with Nick Wood, I understand like he did a coaching call with Dan in which he discussed that he doesn't even like to do backlinks.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. My technical know-how, I do a pretty good job at due diligence, so we get like really good low-hanging fruit. But like, I don't really backlink that much, and so like,
which to me, if you don't know or have a process of creating strong backlinks and you don't have that ability within your team, you're going to struggle to rank, and which might be the reason why Nick likes choosing really obscure cities. Small towns have way less competition, so you can rank with very little SEO skills, but those clients don't pay you that much per month. Like I, for one, don't like targeting any cities less than 150,000 population where I can make $1,000 to $3,000 a month. And I think ultimately in this business, there's the technical side, which is what I'm really good at. Like I have a blog like Ippei.com. Today I do global rankings. So I'm very good at gaming the Google's algorithm. I rank for some of the toughest keywords on the internet. So now in local lead gen is a piece of cake. So I think this is why my partnership with me and Dan works really well, because Dan is like the sales minded, high level business, like entrepreneur coaching. And I come in and I provide the more technical ranking skill sets in our program. And with rank and rent, you definitely need both skill sets. So ultimately what I'm saying here is closing flat fee deal upfront is fine. It's what we teach as well. If you are somebody that's not afraid to go get yourself out there and do sales, yeah, for sure, go after flat fee deals if you can. But for a beginner that has no sales experience, it's a lot more difficult. You do need money that you can spend on AdWords. We also teach other ways of pre-selling your lead gen client. So for example, we have Mike Marion that teaches how to pre-sell clients by using cold email and using different bots and different software that allows us to find clients' emails and send mass emails. And Mike's a great copywriter, so we have the script to get owners interested. So here, let me just read it real quick. Another client pre-selling a lead gen for $5K upfront using cold email. So again, we're very aware of the value of pre-selling lead gen sites. This is something that Mike provides extensive training on, like 6-week boot camp in our program. So pre-selling lead gen is something that we've always taught, and it's something that is going to allow you to get clients much faster if you're somebody that's not afraid to get yourself out there and do sales. However, it's not the only way to build this business. Remember, I built this business without pre-selling any lead gen clients at first. I built assets that eventually turned into long-term clients. There's nothing wrong with the model of building a site and waiting for it to rank in 3 to 4 months. Don't get too distracted with this idea that being able to close flat fee deal upfront is like the faster way. Ultimately, that model has issues too, because ultimately you still have to build and rank the site. Otherwise, you won't be able to keep that client long-term. Now, what I would suggest is if you want to build a model like how Nick's proposing, which is like faster flat fee deal, getting the client's money, then take the client's money and then outsource the building and the ranking of the site, which you can do. For example, if you join our program, we have a whole outsource department where you can outsource the entire building and ranking of the site to our team. Then that's a smart way of going out there and getting the client's money, using that client's money, and then hiring other people to do the technical stuff for you. However, if you're not good at sales, then still building an asset and ranking it and generating free leads first is still the best way to start building your rank and rent business as a beginner. I put some links down in the description where you can check out our lead gen coaching program. We have one of the best support community with 7,000 students, and our coaching program has been fine-tuned over the last 8 years.